Before we go any further, do you have a nickname, or what do your friends call you?
Anyway, so then I...
How'd you get the baby? Isn't that a little premature? Huh? Native Dancer was a famous racehorse who had just retired as stud. Now you got 3. What is there about this development that appeals to you?
Well, No.
Voulez-vous coucher avec toi? Huh?
Oh! Turned on the faucet and out came a little drip, I guess. I don't know.
I hope you're not a little premature.
Oh, no.
There's many a husband been hooked by that process, Jackie.
Well, sometimes they call me Sam or Joyce.
That's logical.
Or Joyce or most time Marilyn.
Well, why do they call you Sam if your name is Eileen?
I used to be built like a boy, more or less.
Well, now suppose you became a famous actress and then you met somebody you liked and got married. Would you be willing to quit acting and be a housewife and a mother?
Well, I think if you keep your feet on the ground, you can combine both. That's what I would like to do.
But I think I outgrew that a little.
That must have been some time ago. Huh? Well, if you keep your feet on the ground, you'll never be a mother.
But he had an old battleship during the Russo-Japanese War.
He's had many an old battleship all day, huh? Just what do you mean by that, Les? I hope you don't mean what they think you mean. I mean when he was single.
Oh, you're terrible.
Yes, that's true.
Well, anything can come about. Any emergency
No, not
can
anything.
arise. Different things can arise.
I see. That's the nicest description of motherhood that I've heard in years. Well, okay, now you got this little drip, and now the big drip is home, too. Now what happens? By the way, Pat, back to the baking powder.
More for $1,000.
Well, I only have 2 more questions left in this category. If you get one of them right, I'll give you the $1,000 anyway. Do you believe a woman should work after she's married?
No, but I believe it's only right until we get a little money ahead in case of a sudden little mishap.
You know,
Huh?
Adorable.
You think he's adorable?
I love that beard.
I think
Perhaps he'll give it to you later on. Now you got 3. I'd say a new name for it. Well, it sounds like an ideal existence. What happened to your marriage?
Bing.
Finished. You think you ran into Crosby? What kind of modeling have you done, Grace?
Well, I used to model stockings in Cuba, and I've modeled coats.
They wear stockings in Cuba?
No, but I just modeled.
No.
He was always very busy and very ambitious to get even bigger than he was. And
Just thought they wore coconuts down there and frozen daiquiris.
I
had a frozen daiquiri once when I was up north. Voulez-vous coucher avec toi? Huh?
oh, stop!
The way to entertain the boys, so we sat on the floor and played these tiddlywinks. About 9 o'clock, the manager...
It was 9 in the morning?
No, at night.
Same night, huh?
They'd only been there about a half an hour when the
And you whipped out the tiddlywinks as soon as they got there, huh? Well, let's get back to the Miss Universe contest. You say this was held in Stockholm?
used used to model maternity clothes about a month ago.
You modeled what?
Maternity clothes.
Maternity clothes.
Well, anybody can model maternity clothes.
Well, he couldn't, for example. I tried it once, and I was a complete failure. Was he a Frenchman?
Yes, he was a Frenchman.
Who was he? What kind of a job did this fellow have?
He was the vice mayor of Paris.
The vice mayor of Paris?
That's right. Don't confuse it with other vice.
Those Frenchmen are so droll. And what was his job specifically? You see, this audience, Pat, let me explain something to you. This audience is even filthier than I am. The slightest shading they will pick up and gobble. Would you part with this if she wanted it real bad?
It depends how badly she wanted it.
Last time I go out without long underwear. What are you laughing at, Paul? I'm afraid to talk to him. He'll stand on his head again. I'm not only terrible, but revolting.
No, I don't agree with that.
Big, luscious blonde like you and not married?
No,
Are you interested in matrimony?
not necessarily.
Well, that's a different joke. I know that.
I want you to lay down on the bench.
That's what I want you to do, huh? Must have been a great kick to these fellas. Huh? Imagine these two guys getting off the boat and say, let's go over to her apartment. We're going to get some hot tiddlywinks. Huh? You say that you feel like a kid? Like a teenager?
Oh, yes.
And then we could go split a Coke, and then after that, maybe I'll let you ride tandem on my motor scooter.
You better right now.
I think you're a mind reader. That's what I think. Do you like to cook? Well, let me put it this way. Do you like to fool around in the kitchen? Because if you like to fool around in the kitchen, you don't have to be able to cook.
Baby Tana won't like it.
Well,
No, I'm going to be censored.
well, I think you should. We'll go down to Wheeling, West Virginia and do this, huh? Did you work before you became Miss England? I mean, what kind of jobs did you have?
Oh, well, I had so many, but amongst them, I was a dispenser in a homeopathic pharmacy.
What is that?
Well,
Is that like Christian Science?
No, not quite. See, if you had TB,
Yeah.
I would cure you by going to the laboratory and getting a little TB
Show me
germ.
where?
And has an ample
Oh,
supply
boy.
of...
A white piece of flesh that isn't sunburned? What does that mean?
No, I don't understand.
I've never heard it expressed quite that way. Doesn't he have any other white flesh besides that?
Well,
Let's discuss your problem. I'm warming up for the Jack Paggio.
some of them do. You have to look a little harder.
Have you ever been out with a married man?
Laboratory.
The bocce. What's a bocce?
Laboratory. You know?
Oh, you mean the laboratory, huh?
That would sound very rude in England.
Yes, well, it does here sometimes, too. Well, you go to the
Yes, I'd go to the
laboratory.
laboratory
Yeah.
and I'd get a little TB germ, which has been medicated, and I would come and I would dose you with it.
You would what?
Dose you with it.
Dose me with it? How would you do that?
Well,
I mean,
I'd
how
get
would
a
you
glass
infect me
and-
with this thing? Would you do it in some pleasant way, like kissing me?
Oh, No. You'd have to take it, you know,
Intravenously,
drink it, or in the arm or something.
Well, I've been doing that for years.
Well, I don't think so. I think that if a man stays on his toes, he can stay single all his life.
If he stays on his toes, yes. But invariably, they wind up on their heels. Gravy is what she had with her husband the night he met her. Isn't that true, on the steak?
No, we didn't have any gravy.
You didn't?
No, mushrooms.
You went?
I love every man. I'm crazy about men, honey. I think you're about the prettiest man I ever seen. I never did look you right square in the eye before. I'm telling the truth. I don't care if they do laugh.
That's not a very nice question. One time
I didn't say it was a very nice question. I was just asking you, that's all. It's just curious, that's all.
But it was an accident.
Well, it was an accident?
Yes.
What do you're going to win a lot of money here tonight. What do you mean? He had the ring on?
Well, no, he didn't, but I found out about it and I was quite furious.
How'd you find out?
Somebody told me.
His wife? Listen, a single man can't afford to make passes. Remember that. It's too dangerous. If he makes passes, he's liable to wind up getting married. Isn't this true, Junior? Well, would you go with me to a movie if I promised to sleep all through it?
Yes, I'd be happy to. I'd even drive you there.
You would?
Yes.
Would you pay for the tickets?
Well, I have a friend who owns a drive-in theater, so we can have passes.
Uh-huh. Well, do you know what your neighbor looks like?
Oh, yeah.
Well, do you take your neighbor to the movies?
No.
On her passes?
No, because she's got a family and she stays home with them.
Well, you mean nobody that has a family goes to the movies?
Well, her kids are... I don't know, sometimes I take her kids, too, but she doesn't like the drive-in.
What were you going to say about your car?
Well, when I go into a service station and the attendant comes over to, check my battery, I don't let him.
You don't let him check your battery?
No.
I should say not. If anybody ever tries to check your battery, you hit him over the head with a wrench.
Because she has a husband, and they just stay home.
You mean that... What you're saying is that... What you're saying is that if you're married, you don't have to go to a drive-in theater, is that it?
Yes, so.
Are you digging a deep hole in your backyard or anything?
He's talking to you,
Mr.
Charlie.
McLaughlin. Oh. And that's what you've been thinking about for the last 10 minutes, huh? Well, it's certainly the last time I ever ask anybody what they've been thinking about. Don't you think she's very attractive?
Very much so. Very much
She's
so.
married, you know.
Yes, she told me.
Are you married, too?
Yes, I told her.
Did you tell her that immediately?
No, afterward.
After what?
Oh, you're pulling my leg.
Huh?
You're pulling my leg.
No, I'd be glad to. Bring it up here, I'd be glad to. Well, why did you ask me to?
Well, I don't know. I never heard of that man.
Well, I never heard of a girl offering to let a man pull her leg and then...
No, that's an expression you say.
It is? You say that to everybody?
No, well, if you're teasing me or something, you say you're pulling your leg.
Wouldn't you like to get up and sing the Halls of Montezuma? What is there about this development that appeals to you?
Well, I think most of all is it's so spacious. All the homes are built on 1-acre lots, and our block seems to be a dead-end street. There isn't much traffic, and it leaves room for the children to run around and scream all they want.
Well, if there's a lot of kids there, there can't be many dead ends around there.
Well, it doesn't. Right.
Why isn't your work permanent? There's a lot of modeling work around Hollywood, isn't there?
Yes, but I've been to several agencies, and the only type they seem to want are skin and bone variety, and I don't think I fit the bill.
Well, I think it's very... My leg.
Oh, well, which one, I mean? That's like that old joke, the girl says, she says, oh, dear, I'm afraid I'm going to wind up an old maid. And I say, bring her in and we'll wind her up together. Real old joke. That's something like pulling my leg. I know you didn't want me to pull your leg, and I wouldn't have done it anyhow with a man standing here with 4 kids. You know, you have to show a little kind of respectability to a married man. Now tell me, Joy, no, that's not, I like that, that's good. You don't think you fit the bill, huh?
No.
Well, if you're not... You're rather distracting, you know. I mean,
Steady job.
your roommate has a job.
A steady job, yes, and we pinch
Well,
our
why
pennies.
couldn't I room with her? As long as she's working. Could I pinch your pennies sometime? I'm an old penny pincher from way back, you know. Georgie, you're wasting your time as a model. You know, you'd make a great mechanic. You look like a mechanic. I'm certainly learning a lot about the younger generation here tonight. What sort of work do you do now, Karen?
Well, alphabetically, or shall I just rattle it off? Let me see now. I
don't care. You can attack this any way you want. Don't you think so?
Oh, that was interesting to hear all that.
To hear what?
Oh, gosh.
About his 4 kids?
No, about, what he's doing.
Oh, well, you have a scientific bent, huh?
No.
I would think so. Did you ever meet a fellow named, what was his name, Joe Sexauer?
And then I got married after 9 months.
Well, you just got under the wire, kid.
He should love me. And he should...
Well, it's different. He can love you all right, but you mean he has to keep loving you 24 hours a day?
Well...
Suppose he's shooting pool or something.
Well, you know what I mean.
No, I don't know. I don't ever know what anybody means. Well, how often would you want him to love you, I mean?
What?
I mean, what do you mean by loving you? I don't understand what that means.
Well, I want...
Well, I mean...
I just want him home nights, you know.
Well, I like to...
For a girl that's been in show business, you don't seem to understand anything, do you? I mean, how early at night?
When it's dark.
Well, you know, in the winter it gets dark around 4:30. He might have a job. He might not get through till 6.
I'll wait for him then.
Well, suppose he had a job where he didn't get through. Suppose he worked nights.
Well, I didn't say... Did I say he had to... Well, then he has to be home during the day, you know? As long as he's home with me for at least, those few hours. Those 8 hours work and 8 hours... sleep and 8 hours.
I'm an adventure.
And later I'll do the same thing to you.
Promise? I'm an
you don't need a man. You want a guinea pig. 8 hours. Oh, boy. Would he get time and a half or overtime?
He's a good boy.
Well, they have passengers, though, too.
5 passengers, yes.
And how many are in the crew?
67.
Well, did you go through the canal? How old are you?
20.
I would say that must have been 18 years ago. What should I call you? Joyce, Eileen,
No, call me
Marilyn?
Eileen.
How about Sam?
I prefer Eileen. It's my name. So.
Eileen, yeah. Well, that's a nice name.
No.
Did you get another job after that?
Yes, I got a job as a secretary.
Uh-huh. How long that last?
Well, the boss kept me for 5 months.
Isn't that a little premature? Huh? I hope you're not a little premature.
Oh, no.
There's many a husband been hooked by that process, Jackie. And I sat down at your counter, and I feel miserable all over. Now, what do you do first?
Well, first thing I do is I'd look at your face, and I'd say, hi, what would you like? Because I always smile. This is what I mean about me being different.
You say, what would you like?
Yes.
Well, if we weren't here in front of this crowd, I have an answer for that would get me thrown out of the restaurant. I would say a good 50%. Do you have when you go out with a man for the first time, what is the first thing you do? Do you smell him?
Well, no, I don't smell him.
No? Well, how do you know if he's using shaving lotion?
Well, you don't go up to him and go like this.
Well, did you go to the office at all?
I was there always on time, but I couldn't type or take shorthand.
And it took your boss 5 months to discover this? What do you suppose he could have been thinking about all that time? And you weren't even engaged, and you were discussing with this fellow how many children you were going to have? You don't take a whiff of them, huh?
I mean, I don't know. You're not a girl. It's just...
Well, okay, now I've got TB. Now what happens? I go to Saranac, I suppose. Well, how did you figure that out, man? You know, that's the nicest thing that's been said to me tonight.
Well, you know.
Let's pretend that I walked into your place by mistake. Well, okay, now I've got TB. Now what happens? I go to Saranac, I suppose. Get back to decent dialogue. This conversation is getting filthier all the time, you know. Now, would you mind starting all over again?
Well, you're terrible.
Yes, that's That's what they call a waste of film.